What's going on, guys? Your boy Jerry back on the inside with another edition of Men's Fragrance and Fashion Extra, guys. So what's up? Hope you all doing well. This is another installment and we have an interesting video for you today. As you can see from the title, how to make your fragrance last longer. This is a very important topic. This is a very important issue in the fragrance world. Once you get into any type of fragrance wearing or so on, you will come across this issue at some point in time. So we're gonna address that today. All right, so before we do that, again, my name is Gerald. If this is your first time tuning into this channel, welcome, glad to have you. And on this channel we discuss everything fragrance related. So if you enjoy content like that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. So sit back and enjoy the video. All right, don't forget to drop a like, guys, if you enjoy this video, or even if you want to drop that like right now, much appreciated. It does well for the channel on the YouTube platform. So thank you in advance. I'm going right into it, guys. So I have 5 tips for you today to make your fragrance last longer. So let's go. So before I give you tip number 1, just going to give you a quick scenario, right? So I have a client who bought a fragrance that is known for lasting long, performing well, etc. Right? So he got the fragrance, started to wear it, and so he messaged me and told me, hey, something wrong with this fragrance. I think it's bad, it's not good. Probably I got a bad batch or whatever the case is. I say, you sure about that, boy? All right, so anytime somebody comes to me with that type of issue, I don't immediately jump to, okay, the fragrance is bad. All right, there are some other things that we have to eliminate first. So the first thing I always recommend, all right, and this is tip number 1, and I say, do this and let's see if anything changes. And you know what, he did it, and he came back to me a couple days later and said, hey Jerry boy, I end up getting compliments from this one, this lady, this guy, this whatever, asking me what I have on. Everybody asking him what he has on. So that is why I always start off with this particular tip. So write it down if you're taking notes. Always make sure that your skin is moisturized, guys. Make sure, all right, make sure. A lot of times that is just the issue. Like, I preach on this because this is an experience of my own, right? I have dry skin, and that is not good for fragrance wearing. In that, when you apply the fragrance, that dry layer of your skin just absorbs that fragrance immediately. So it really lessens the longevity of your fragrance wearing. So if you're somebody who has dry skin, you have to moisturize, and I always recommend this one, right? This is Lubriderm Advanced Therapy. This is a fragrance free. Make sure if you're buying this Lubriderm Advanced Therapy, make sure to look for the fragrance free or unscented, however it's labeled, however you want to refer to it as, but it doesn't have a scent. It's just neutral. So you buy this, or you can buy any brand. This is just the one I use, right? I'm not being paid by Lubriderm to advertise. I'm just showing you what I use. I apply this as I come out the shower, apply this, and then put my fragrance on top of that. And you will be surprised, it really does work. Again, that's a testimony from one of my clients there. So it wasn't that he had a bad batch, it's just that he has the same issue as me, dry skin, and that was eating up the fragrance, guys. So make sure if you bought a fragrance that you heard that was hyped, oh, it has good longevity, but you're not getting that, check your skin, right? Not everybody has dry skin, but a lot of people do. So that's tip number 1, moisturize. We're going along quick. So tip number 2, this is something that really helps as well. So let's say you don't have dry skin, or you have dry skin and you're using a moisturizer and you're still not getting that performance that you desire. Tip number 2, apply a fixative or layer. All right, so you're gonna layer with something called eccentric molecules number 1 or eccentric molecules number 2. I have eccentric molecules number 1, which is Isoe Super. 2 is ambroxan. Yeah, what you're gonna do basically, you're just gonna apply one of these, boom, spray wherever you're applying your fragrance. You spray that first, and then you spray your fragrance on top of that. So these fragrances from eccentric molecule, they don't have a scent, right? They're very neutral, right? These are just fixative molecules that help fragrance to last longer. So in your popular fragrances like Dior Sauvage and so on, they have fixatives in them. A lot of fragrances have Isoe Super, ambroxan. This helps the fragrance to last longer. So you can apply it before and then put your fragrance on top of that. Trust me, it does work. It does help the fragrance to last a bit longer. In some cases, project even better as well. All right, so that's tip number 2. Get yourself a bottle of either Ambroxan or Isoe Super. I personally like the Isoe Super because there's a particular fragrance where it's very dominant in that particular fragrance, and I like that fragrance, right? Well, we talk about that in another video, all right? But anyone could work, all right? So moving on to tip number 3. So you did the moisturizing, you did the application or the layering of molecule, you still don't find it performing, you're gonna do this one now. The third tip is to apply the fragrance on your fabric. So your shirt, your jersey, whatever the case is, you add it to that because fabric carries fragrance longer than skin. All right, I'm sure you can agree or relate that you probably spray on your clothes before and you went into the closet 4 days after. When you open the closet, you're just smelling this thing. That's because the fragrance just stays there in the fabric. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have anywhere to go. All right, so that is going to help you with your longevity. All right, it doesn't project off of fabric because there's no heat to lift it off of the fabric, but it's going to last longer. It's going to stay there longer, right? So if you're one of those by lunchtime, you find your scent gone, put it onto your clothes, you're going to find that even after work, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you're still, if you lift your shirt up, you're still going to get it there. All right, on skin, the heat causes the oil to lift off the skin. All right, so it's gonna come off of your skin quicker than it's gonna come off of fabric. So spray, apply. Just make sure not to put the nozzle too close. You don't wanna, damage your clothes, especially if it's a light color like white or something. Just keep it a little distance, but make sure the mist gets on the fabric, and you're gonna be good to go. You're gonna be good to go. All right. Also, watch out for the fragrances that have very dark oils. Right. You don't want to put that too close to a white shirt, but in most cases it doesn't stain, so you don't need to worry about that. All right. Just use your discretion. All right. So that's tip number 3. We're going on to tip number 4. So this one is very important, guys. So you did the first 3, right? You moisturize, you layer, you put it on your fabric. You still don't find you're getting enough performance. This is what you're gonna do now. I can't stress this one enough, guys. Do not underspray. Do not underspray. I know in some cases you spend a lot of money on a particular fragrance and you want to have it for a long time and so on. That's good. But if you underspray, it doesn't make any sense, right? Some people would spray 1, some people would spray 2. That is not going to work for you, right? It's not going to work. An hour into the fragrance when you can't even smell anything because you didn't apply enough. Right, you bought the fragrance to wear and smell good, especially amongst people. Spray the thing, right? For those of you who know, that's my slang, right? Spray the thing. Don't be afraid to spray. Don't hold back, all right? You don't want to overspray. You don't want to, just bathe yourself in the entire bottle. You're not going to do that. But you don't want to underspray, all right? So minimum 5 sprays, guys, and then you could adjust at that point. If you want to go more, you still find a lasting, you go more. If you're okay, if the 5 is working for you, fine, but don't why you spraying once? It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to last, right? So a lot of people do that and then complain about the fragrance isn't good. It's not that. You just under applying the fragrance, so you're basically wasting your money, you're wasting your time. Right? So don't underspray, but also don't overspray, even though sometimes I do, depending on the fragrance. And that takes me to number 5. Number 5 tip is understand the fragrance, guys. Understand the fragrance. So if you're not really deep into fragrances, I understand that you wouldn't understand, right? But fragrances are made up of 3 layers. So your top notes, your heart notes, and your base notes, and they have lighter notes on the top, so like citruses. So if you have fragrances in a collection and they're more on the fresh side, they're more on the citrus side, those fragrances are generally not going to last as long as the fragrance that are on the heavier side. So the fragrances that are on the heavier side will possess notes like oud, leather, tobacco, incense, these heavy notes, patchouli. Those will be like your warm, spicy, darker fragrances. Those will last longer than the fresh fragrances in most cases, right? There are some fresh fragrances that perform well, but generally they don't last as long as the heavier fragrances because they have more citruses in them. And citruses, as soon as it hits the skin, it starts to dissipate, it starts to evaporate off the skin, lift off the skin, and before long it's gonna eventually fade away. All right, but fragrances that have a lot of citruses in them, they project better, so you're gonna get a bigger sillage and scent bubble in most cases, right? But we're talking about longevity here, how to make your fragrance last longer. So if you have a lot of freshies in your collection, try bringing in some more of the darker, heavier, warm, spicy fragrances that have a little more meat, a little more base, a bit more heft. All right, so try bringing in some of those in your collection, and those will most likely help with the longevity. So there's the other topic about concentration, EDT, EDP, perfume, etc. That's for a different video. But for this one, you have a lot of freshies, try bringing in some more of the heavier, darker scents, and that will help you in terms of making your fragrance last longer in most instances. All right, so that's the 5 tips today, guys. Hope you could relate to any of these. Hope you could take some of these and apply it to your routine and see if it helps. I've been experimenting with these things for a very long time, so I would have just pulled the ones that I know will make a difference. So try these out if you haven't already, and see if you get better performance or longevity coming out of your fragrance. All right, so if I went through too fast, you're gonna scroll back and make sure you get these 5, write it down and apply it to your routine, and come back and let me know. Come back and let me know if it helps you or if it worked for you, and so on. All right, so if you have any more tips, leave it down in the comments. Something that may have worked for you or usually works for you and I didn't mention it, leave it in the comments. We'd like to know. And yeah, of course, we're gonna get that interaction going. All right, so it was a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having you. Thanks for watching. Again, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video. It means a lot. Thank you in advance. And yeah, it's all about sharing the knowledge. It's all about the community, the fragrance community. All right, we are very small in scale, but you know, we're just here to help and encourage one another in your fragrance journey. All right, so that's my tips today, guys. Again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. So until then, I'm out. Take care. Peace.